Hello everyone, today we're checking out a wireless unit from Line 6, which is the G10. Now as you can see in the close-up cam, I have the transmitter plugged into my output jack, and over here on top of the cabinet I have the receiver. Now the Line 6 G10 is probably one of the most convenient wireless units out there, in the sense that the transmitter does not need to be in a pack and attached to your strap, or the hassle of having to have batteries on standby and to replace them. The transmitter is rechargeable, and the way you recharge it is simply by docking it into the receiver. And the receiver in turn is being powered up by a micro USB cable, so it is a typical cable or charger that you use for your mobile phones. You do not need to mess around with selecting the channels and stuff like that. All you have to do is plug and play. Now this little thing should give you about 50 feet of range and also about 8 hours of playtime when it's fully charged. Now the one cool thing about this is you can actually pull it out of your guitar and it will not make any popping sounds. Now the volume is still turned on there. I'm going to plug this back in and it will light up once it detects that it's been placed into the output jack. No noise. It sounds really clear even if I were to do something such as rolling down the volume knob. So if I had my guitar up on full gain, and if I roll it back, it will still register all the notes clearly. Now I'm a pretty regular gigging musician and I actually use the G10 personally. So now I'm going to show you a few live clips of the G10 in action. Now I typically move around about 25 to 30 feet, maybe 35 feet. Now I've also used the G10 in situations where the other guitarist has a G30. And so far personally I have not experienced any signal loss whatsoever. Now I've used this unit with multiple guitars, Tellies, Strats, Les Pauls, and they all fit into your output jack rather easily. Also in this guitar, if you notice, it's a much more recessed kind of output jack, and it still fits with no issues. However, if you do run into a situation where the transmitter cannot be fully plugged into an output jack, Line 6 has included an adapter in the box, which is a male to female mono adapter. There's also a right angle adapter, so if the transmitter cannot be fully plugged into your guitar, what you can do is you can plug the adapter in, followed by plugging the transmitter into that adapter. So that should be solving two issues. Number one, if the transmitter can be plugged completely into the output jack, and there are guitars where the output jack is wired in inverse and the unit might not register a signal, it might go into a safe mode, so the adapter should help fix that issue. Now you would notice there are a lot of talk on forums where the receiver that uses the micro USB cable, now what happens if you start forcing a micro USB cable in, it can break rather easily. And I do have a way which I work around this, and I make sure I always do this. Number one, you have to realize that the micro USB doesn't go all the way in, it sticks out a bit. So to make sure that I don't push it in too far, what I tend to do is I tend to turn on my adapter first. Then I make sure that the cable is the right side up. Finally, I plug it in, and the moment I see the lights turn on the receiver, I stop pushing the cable in. And for the past 6 months, this method has served me really well in taking care of the unit, and then in turn the unit taking care of me. So now what I want to do is I'm going to switch to a cleaner signal on the XFX, and then I'm going to plug in a cable, and then we'll swap to the G10 just to please some of you curious lots out there. Now that aside, let's plug the G10 back in. Now the part where I was tucking the cable was no act, it was actually really tangled. So that's another plus point to own a wireless unit for your guitar. So there you go, that is the Line 6 G10. Check out musicbliss.com.my for pricing info. Give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video, subscribe for more content, and see you real soon.